God's greatest plot twist. Did you know that on Easter Sunday, Jesus pulled off the ultimate plot twist of all time? And when he did it, he showed us that he has plans for our lives that we may not be thinking are going to materialize. We might be waiting for a change, wondering, is this going to continue? Is this situation ever going to end? And it feels like it's the end of the road. But I believe God brought you to this video today to show you that he has a plot twist for your life too. So what is a plot twist? Well, let's ask Brother Google. According to him, a plot twist is a literary technique introducing a radical change in the direction or expected outcome of the plot of a story. When it happens at the end of a story, it is known as a twist or surprise ending. Now, I don't know what kind of movies you like, but I enjoy those suspenseful ones where you really think it's going to happen one way, or you think you know who did it, and then come to find out it's somebody completely different. Like the parents call the FBI because the kid got kidnapped, and then come to find out it was the parents who kind of hid the kid so that they can get some money from somebody else in the family. Plot twisting is just interesting, and God is the master plot twister. So what did he do on Easter Sunday to pull off the greatest plot twist of all time? Well, I've dressed in my Easter fit to tell you the Easter twist and show you what God wants to do for you today. You see, Jesus brought so much to this earth: healings, miracles, preaching about the kingdom, forgiveness of sins, salvation for our souls. I mean, he brought everything, and the devil was not having a good day. He did everything he could to try to stop Jesus, trip him up, offer him all kind of opportunities to fall into sin. And on top of that, the people who ruled society didn't like that he was causing a ruckus and getting people's attention away from their religious beliefs. So they were always trying to do him in. And then finally, after all this struggle, they managed to arrest him. They put him on trial and bring false witnesses to accuse him. Eventually arrange it where they end up mocking him and beating him and hanging him on a cross and just killing him. Now imagine how the devil felt then. He probably turned the AC on in hell and gave everybody a shot of Bacardi to celebrate. They got rid of Jesus. The religious leaders were happy. Nobody was interfering with their status and coming in and taking their followers. I mean, it was a good day in hell and a good day for the leaders of Israel. So all the demons partied up all night long on Friday, wake up Saturday morning with a hangover. But once they wake up, take a little Tylenol and start chit-chatting, they realize, man, we did it, yo. They just basking in it. Oh, we riding it out, man. That cat's still dead. But the next day, Easter Sunday, Jesus walks out of the grave and says, I'm dead? Bet. Why? Because he is the master of the plot twist. Just when you thought he was down, that's when he was at the ultimate fulfillment of his calling. His purpose was to heal. His purpose was to teach. But the ultimate purpose of his entire life was to die and then to resurrect on the third day. So the devil thought he had the story lined up. The religious leaders thought they had the plot all perfected, when all of a sudden Jesus walks up out of the grave and says, plot twist. And I believe on this Easter Sunday, God has a plot twist for you and your family. It looked like that marriage was going to completely disintegrate into a divorce. It was over. You would never recover from the situation. And maybe the divorce attorney's ready to sign the paperwork. Maybe the devil thinks he won. But I believe God has a plot twist for your marriage. There is life coming to your home this year. There is healing in your relationship. Forgiveness is taking place. And you're not going to stay at odds forever. God is a God of order and of peace. And there is peace in your home and in your marriage, because it looked like it was about to end. But this Easter Sunday, God has a plot twist for your marriage. You see, you didn't think you'd ever get out of debt. You'd always have to live paycheck to paycheck. But that's your Good Friday finances, not your Easter Sunday money. I believe God will give you wisdom on how to handle your finances, how to manage your money well, how to build up a savings account, how to invest and live in financial freedom. You got to put in the work. Watch the Dave Ramsey videos. Apply yourself to learning and incorporating the behavior that comes with appropriate financial management. But your finances are turning around. You thought you was going to lose your job, but you're going to get a promotion or a better one. You thought you would always be behind, but you're about to step out ahead. Why? Because God looked at your finances and said, it looked like it was going this way, but I got a plot twist for your money. You see that ministry you've been trying to raise up and get activated and get people involved to help and minister to other people and provide value and add something to society, but you just haven't been able to find the time to get it done or get the help that you need or understand all the how-tos of how to make it happen. And so you were about to give up. At one point you felt called to it, but now you're not really sure. And it's on the fence now and you're kind of considering maybe I should just do something else with my life, but God is looking at that desperate situation and your inclination to quit in this moment, and he's saying, no, I'm not going to let it go that way, even though it looks like it's going to end. I am putting a plot twist in this ministry. That church is going to stand. That nonprofit is going to work out. That philanthropy is going to succeed. It might look like you're at a dead end right now, but God's got a plot twist for your ministry to take you under that mountain, over that mountain, or through that mountain. But what is he doing in all this anyways? Like, why did he stay in the grave for 3 days instead of just coming out right away? Why doesn't he just fix what's happening in your life? Why doesn't he just change the situation immediately? Well, to answer that question, I'd like to ask you a question today. Have you ever wondered, when the Israelites left Egypt after they were enslaved there for hundreds of years, and they go out to the wilderness for 40 years after crossing the Red Sea, and enter into the promised land that God gave them, which was already established by advanced archaeological societies? How did they take that land from those people? You think they just walked across the Jordan River and said, hey, we're here to take our promised land, so if you all want to just go on off and die so that we can live here instead of you, we'd really appreciate it? No, there was a war. Where did they get the weapons to fight that war? In the desert when they were walking around for 40 years under a cactus? If you think about it with me, when they crossed that Red Sea 40 years before going into the promised land, the Egyptian army came chasing behind them. The Jews walked through on dry ground after God parted the waters, but when the Egyptian army went across the dry ground to try to catch them and kill them, God removed his hands from the water, which then enclosed the Egyptians and drowned them. All those weapons of bows and arrows and spears and the armor that they had with them when they took off to go and kill the people of God washed up on sea after their death right there in the hands of the Israelites. So for 400 years they were saying, God, why? God, when is this going to end? God, where are you? And the whole time the Egyptians said, yeah, we got them. They're here. They're ours. They're our slaves. They ain't going nowhere. But then God stepped in with a plot twist. And when he did, not only did he free the Jews from what happened beforehand, but he also equipped them for where he was taking them next. What you have been through is not in vain. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. You may have been going through this situation for weeks, for months, for years, for 10 years, a whole decade. You might be asking God, where are you? Why are you allowing this to happen? But I'm believing for you that he has a plot twist to not only get you out, but also to equip you and get you ready. He has something for you next. Your right now is not your forever. And you are gaining experiences and growing in wisdom and losing the pride and stripping the impatience. And all of these things are happening inside of you while you're going through this, that when God shows up with that plot twist for you and you step into the next season that he has, you will be ready to handle it. And the way you know God has a plot twist coming to your life is if what you're going through right now doesn't make sense. So let me show you what I mean. When I went to college, I wanted to get a degree in Spanish, but there was one little problem. And that is that they did not offer a degree in Spanish. The Languages and Literature department had an English degree, a French degree, and a minor in Spanish with some higher level Spanish courses available, but not a full-fledged bachelor's degree. So I started working on an associate's in general studies to just knock out my basic classes while trying to figure out what I was going to do, and ended up taking 3 English classes with that first degree, then walked out of the last English class after taking the final and saying to God when I was walking out of the building, I thank you, Lord, that I never have to take another English class for the rest of my life. Well, shortly after that, a new department head of the Languages and Literature department took over, and chit-chatting with her one day, I proposed the idea, well, what if I take upper level Spanishes, but since it's under your department, I'm just under an English degree, and you count those as all the electives for the English class? And she said, yes, go figure, right? You have not because you asked not. So she told me I could do that, and that is what I did. So I had to get an English degree, which then forced me to take about 9 or 10 additional English classes, but thankfully I was able to squeeze 4 or 5 Spanishes in to kind of make it all up. And then I finished my degree and went to my old high school to talk to the principal to get a job because I wanted to be a Spanish teacher. Well, there were several problems. 1, I didn't have an education degree. I had an English degree. 2, I didn't have a Spanish degree at all. And 3, there wasn't even an opening for a Spanish teacher. However, through a chain of events and some connections with some friends and blah, 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 I was able to get into the school teaching English. And then that job led to another school that I was teaching at in the projects for a couple of years. And then it led back to my dream job teaching in the high school with my favorite principal. Like everything worked out, but the kids, the students that I was with in those high schools and junior highs where I was interacting with them in those English classes and the impact that God made in their lives when I would share my life story and talk to them about Jesus and rap about Jesus, because I did it with no shame in the public school system. It's mind-boggling to think that my plan was to go be a Spanish teacher, but I ended up being an English teacher, yet all the things God did through me in that season of my life. At the time of this recording, it's been 7 years since I taught as a public school teacher, and just yesterday I ran into a student, man, yo, Mr. Daigle, what's up? And man, you just wouldn't believe the stories these students tell me as far as what it meant to them, talking about Christ, holding them accountable. So you see what happens is we have our plans. You have an idea of what's going to happen and how things should happen, but maybe it's not turning out that way. Perhaps there was a shift or a change and things have just gone in a different direction. It could be because God is ordering your steps, because he is leading you in the path that he has for you. In other words, God will do a plot twist even on the plans you have for yourself. When you think you have it all figured out and you got it going this direction, but it ends up not working out that way, it could be because God is ordering your steps. He is directing your path. And if you trust him with the process, allowing him to be God, he will blow your mind with what he does through you, because he is the God of the ultimate plot twist. And thank you for letting me add value to your life. I'd love to give you even more through the books I've published, which are linked in the description below. And be sure to subscribe with the notifications bell turned on to catch all the videos when they come out. And I'll see you in the next one together.